ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति 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 हरि ओम. So we were seeing the first part of the Adhyasa Bhashya, that is the introduction to the commentary of Shankaracharya on the Brahma Sutras. So the first part begins with an objection. The objection is in simple words that how is it possible that two contradictory things, two opposite things like light and darkness can be mistaken one for the other? How is it possible? So when you say that the self, which is conscious, is mistaken for the matter or the universe which is unconscious, the seen is mistaken with the seer, or the seer is mistaken with the seen. How is it possible? Because they are so contradictory to each other. How is it possible? So now here, that is how the idea has been developed. Now we will see the different aspects of this idea. The first thing is, you see, the example here brought is of darkness and light. As I told you earlier, if there was some other example which was brought, then there could have been a possibility of some similarity. And to avoid that possibility, there is a total dissimilarity between the object and the subject. The object refers to Vishaya and subject is Vishayina. So total dissimilarity. That's why light and darkness has been. And also there is a total impossibility of superimposition. Either way, the subject cannot be superimposed on the object, object cannot be superimposed on the subject. Because if you put darkness on light, there is no more light, there is darkness only. If you put light on darkness, it is no more darkness, it is only light. So you cannot put. But there could be an example of what we say shell and silver, etc., or some other thing like that, or even our rope and snake. But those examples have not been brought because there could be a similarity. And so to totally remove the possibility of any argument regarding similarity, this example is given. And also you see the example Yushmad has been given. Instead of saying this or that or it, the noun you has been given. Why? Because when you say it, there could be a possibility where you will actually mistake an object to be connected with you. My phone, my house, my car, etc. Or you can say that I am this, I am this, I am that. So these things are used in our popular language, and so to avoid all these other possibilities, this Yushmad has been selected. Yushmad has been selected. Whereas for object, we usually say that a particular it or something. But here, though the object is being signified, but the signifier or the word by which the object is being signified is Yushmad. So here also Shankaracharya's brilliance is coming. And also you see, the mutual identity is also taken into account. That mutual identity is not there. And so the fact that even the attributes cannot be compared has been brought very nicely. Okay, so for example, if you take the case of oxygen and nitrogen, oxygen gives life, nitrogen is necessary, but more nitrogen may create problem, but both are gas. So here that kind of a thing is not used. The property of being gas is present in both oxygen and nitrogen. But here mutually exclusive things have been talked about to bring forth the idea of superimposition. And that is why he says all the more impossible, Sutaram, all the more impossible. Why all the more impossible? Because if two things cannot be compared, then their properties can definitely be not compared. Then he says that mithya means it is not possible, it is something which has to be denied, etc. And also vice versa. So these are the aspects. Means vice versa means as object cannot be superimposing the subject, subject also cannot superimpose the object. So or the qualities of the object cannot superimpose the qualities of the subject. Qualities of the subject cannot superimpose the qualities of the object. And here another thing is, it is a traditional thing that before you start any text, traditionally there is something called Mangalacharana, which is written for various purposes. Mainly the purpose is for the complete completion without any obstacle free completion of the text. Then to show four things in the text, that is adhikari, vishaya, sambandha and prayojana. So adhikari, vishaya, prayojana, sambandha. Adhikari, who is the person fit to read the text. Second, what is the subject matter of the text? What is the prayojana, what is the utility of this text? And what is the sambandha, what is the connection between the subject matter of the text and the utility of the text? This is called Anubandha Chatushtaya. So this is explained in the Mangalacharana. And also Mangalacharana is used to give an invocation to God or Guru. Mangalacharana. And also it is sometimes used as a signature, means that is the place where the author generally, traditionally they don't, as nowadays everywhere they autograph, they don't autograph. Traditionally it was not there. So that is the place where you get an idea of who the author was. But here Shankaracharya, before starting this wonderful commentary on Brahma Sutras, does not do any of these things. He does not have a Mangalacharana. So that comes out as very strange, if you one may ask. No, it is not strange. Why? Because Shankaracharya is talking about the Atman and the non-Atman. And by talking about the Atman, he is automatically invoking the ultimate spirit, the true nature. And by talking about Atman and non-Atman, and how there is no connection between them, he is actually now straight away coming to the point, that is Vishaya or the subject matter, that we are now going to talk about the true nature and how it is different from, or whether it is different from, the non-reality of this universe. So we are talking about the self and the non-self. So that has been proven. And who is an adhikari? Who is an adhikari? Anybody who has this confusion is an adhikari. If we were to take this as a Mangalacharana, then anybody who has this confusion, why there is superimposition, or if at all there is superimposition, or if anybody is confused because of superimposition, all these people are adhikaris to understand. And how are we going to understand this? That the logicality or the irrationality or rationality of superimposition is what is going to be proven in Brahma Sutras. You see, if we know that something is not needed, if we know that something is unnecessary, there are three levels. One is we know, but we are not convinced. Second is we know and we are convinced, but we don't realize it. And the third is that we know, we are convinced, and we realize it too. That means it comes into our actions, it comes into our practice, it translates into our practice. So here the third state is our goal, that we are convinced, that we have know that it is unnecessary superimposition, and it is there but it is unreal, and then we are convinced that it is unreal, and the third thing is that we realize that it is unreal. So when you realize, as in psychological textbooks you find a sketch of a young woman seen from one angle, seen from the other angle it is the sketch of an old woman. So the moment you see old woman, you cannot see young woman. When you see young woman, you cannot see old woman. You cannot at the same time see both the old woman and the young woman. So when you see the unreality of this universe, you cannot see this universe as real. It's as simple as that. So what we now have to do is to see the unreality of the universe. So before we go to the second line of this Adhyasa Bhashya, we will first again once more see the objection part of the Adhyasa Bhashya, which we now just saw. Yushmad asmad pratyaya gocharayoho vishaya vishayinoho tama prakashavat विरुद्ध स्वभावयोः इतर इतर भाव अनुपपत्तौ सिद्धायां तद्धर्माणाम् अपि सुतराम् इतर इतर भाव अनुपपत्तिः इत्यतः अस्मत् प्रत्यय गोचरे विषयनी चिदात्मके युष्मत् प्रत्यय गोचरस्य विषयस्य तद्धर्माणां च अध्यासः तद् विपर्ययेन विषयिनः तद्धर्माणां च विषये अध्यासो मिथ्या इति भवितुं युक्तम्. Now this is what has been portrayed as the objection by the opponent, that what you are talking about superimposition itself is something which is implausible, which is illogical, and so we cannot accept it. It cannot be accepted. It is simply unacceptable. So now Shankaracharya brings his argument. What does he say? Now this part of the Adhyasa Bhashya, or the introduction to his commentary on Brahma Sutras, can be called as Adhyasa Samarthana Bhashyam. Means the part of the commentary which is in support of Adhyasa. That means which is in support of Adhyasa. That means which is in support of superimposition. Which is in support of superimposition. That means it just says that superimposition exists. No matter on the face of it how different and how contradictory they seem, but nonetheless they exist. That is why he starts with the word tathapi. Tathapi means even then. So you can add, some commentators have told that we can add yadyapi evam, means even though this is like that, yet even though what you are telling is correct, that two things as contradictory as light and darkness cannot be mistaken for one another, even though that is the state of affairs, still yet tathapi anyonyasmin, anyah anyasmin, anyonyasmin, anyonyatmakatam, anyah anya atmakatam, अन्योन्य धर्मांश्च, अन्यः अन्य धर्मांश्च, अध्यस्य इतरेतर अविवेकेन अत्यंत विविक्तयोः धर्म धर्मिणोः मिथ्या ज्ञान निमित्तः सत्य अनृते मिथुनीकृत्य अहम इदम मम इदम इति नैसर्गिकः अयम लोक व्यवहारः. The beauty of any prose or poetry written by Shankaracharya is the simple language. Anybody can understand it. Very simple language. What does he say? Tathapi. Yet, okay, I understand what you are saying, or the objection. Objection posited by Shankaracharya himself, but it is supposed to be the words of the opponent. So yes, I understand what you are talking. Tathapi. Yet, even though what you are saying makes sense, even then, anya anyasmin, on each one of them. There are two things we are talking about, the subject and the object. Vishaya is the object, Vishayena is the subject. We are talking about the subject, object, object, subject. So, and they are as different as light and darkness. Now, anya anyasmin, so on each one of them, what is happening? Anya anya atmakatam. Atmakatam means nature, the nature of the other. So on each one of them, what is being superimposed? The nature of one another. So on the object, the nature of the subject is being superimposed. On the subject, the nature of the object is being superimposed. Anyah anya dharman, that is what? Attributes. Dharma means attributes. So you were asking the question, what dharma can mean the substratum. Dharma can loosely be translated into English as religion. Dharma also mean attributes. If you think about it, attributes are the substratum of any object, right? What is water if it does not have fluidity? What is gas if it does not, what is air if it does not have the attribute of being gaseous? So attribute is also in one way the substratum or the basis of a particular object. Anyway, so dharma means attribute. So anya dharman. So what is happening here? On each one of them, their nature, either nature and one's property of the other. Means on one, on the subject, the properties of the object is being superimposed. On object, the properties of the subject are being superimposed. Adhyasya, after superimposing. So Shankaracharya says that though it is true, it doesn't make any sense that such superimposition can exist. It is totally illogical. It is totally unacceptable. Even then, yadyapi evam tathapi, even then, yet, what is happening? That on these two things, one is being superimposed on the other. One's attributes are being superimposed on the others, and one's nature is being superimposed on the other. Both ways, vice versa. Adhyasya itara avivekena. And why is it happening? You see, very important. This we have to understand. Why is superimposition existing? Itara avivekena. Because of the non-discrimination. A better word would be non-discernment, discerning, non-understanding, non-clarity of those things, either of these things. Itara avivekena. Because of non-discrimination, non-discernment among these things. What is these things? Subject and object. When you lose the discrimination between what is subject and what is object, then this confusion comes. When you lose the discernment or the clarity between what is subject and what is object, then this confusion comes. Atyanta viviktayoho. So you see, and what are these? So yes, what the objection was given is correct. Atyanta viviktayoho. They are absolutely atyanta viviktayoho, different from one another. They are distinct from one another. The subject and object, Vishayinaha and Vishaya, are distinct from one another. So distinct, like light and darkness. Dharma dharminoho. So you see, what are distinct? The attributes of the subject is distinct, and also the locus means the place where these attributes are there. The attributes of the subject will be in what place? What place? Attributes of the object will be in the object. So the attributes and the locus or the loci of the attributes are distinct, but they get confused. That means the attributes of the subject cannot be in the object. The attributes of the object cannot be in the subject. Similarly, subject cannot be the object. Object cannot be the subject. Though these are the things, they are very clear. Atyanta vivikta. Though it is so clear, so absolutely distinct, perfectly distinct, different, but mithya jnana nimittaha. Earlier, one reason has been given, avivekena, because of non-discrimination. Here, another reason has been given, mithya jnana nimittaha, due to mithya jnana, because of wrong understanding. Jnana means cognition, knowledge. But what kind of cognition? Mithya cognition means illusory cognition. A cognition which is wrong. I see water on the tar road at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. But there is no water there. It is because of some kind of illusory mirage created because of the sunlight and the heat on the tar road. But there is no water. But I see water. Similarly, I am seeing something, mistaking something, superimposing something on something which is totally different from this something. I am superimposing A on B. B is totally different from A, and A is totally different from B. Also, the attributes of A are totally different from the attributes of B. But what am I doing? I am taking the attributes of A and putting it in the locus of B. But it is not there. And I am taking the attributes of B and putting it in the locus of A. That is also not there. So I am doing this why? Because of mithya jnana nimittaha. Because of wrong understanding, because of wrong knowledge, because of false cognition, because of illusory cognition. You see, that is why if we carefully analyze each and every phrase of this commentary, then we get so many ideas. And here itself, if somebody is looking for the diagnosis, does one need to go any further? One does not, because already it has been told that your idea is wrong and it is because of non-discrimination. Finish. So automatically you need discrimination and you should have clarity in understanding. Finish. Close the book. That's all over. Your Brahma Jnana is over. You already will realize Brahman. But the problem is we are not only objectively reading this, but we are subjectively suffering this. We are not just objectively reading this, we are subjectively suffering superimposition. So it is not so easy that you read and it will be solved. We have to actually understand it at a very, very deeper level. Anyway, mithya jnana nimitta. So this is happening because of wrong cognition. And satya anarrite mithuni kritya. Anrita means
Something that is not ritam, that is not true.
true. Anritam means true, untrue. False, untrue. Something that is untrue is anritam. Ritam, anritam. So satya anritam, anrite, mithuni kritya. So truth and untruth are what has been done there. Mithuni from the word maithuna. Maithuna means to come together. To come together. Join. Mithuni kritya. So we are joining, we are confusing satya, truth, with untruth. We are confusing truth with falsity. We are confusing truth with that which is not true. So Sri Ramakrishna very nicely says, Lazy Gobade, everything has become, you see, everything has got confused. We are made completely confused. This is what is called as Chit Jada Granthi. That which is conscious, Chaitanya, Chit. That which is unconscious or inert, Jada. Granthi, not. So this is a naughty problem. KNOTTY, not NAUGSTY. But this KNOTTY can often becomes NAUGSTY. So this is a naughty problem. What is the knot of Satya and Anritam? Satyam, Anritam. We have confused truth with the untruth. And because of that, why did this happen? Because of two things. Because of itara avivekena, because of non-discrimination of one from the other. We are unable to separate one from the other. Sri Ramakrishna gives the wonderful example. You see the swan, the great swan gets milk, and Paramahamsa, it separates milk from water, means it only takes milk. So we have to become Paramahamsa to understand the reality from the unreality, to differentiate the truth from the untruth. So what will be left will be all not necessary. It will be left. And no, there may not be any truth for you, but there is truth by itself. You see, truth does not depend on somebody's realizing it. truth is there for itself. If there is cow dung and inside the cow dung there is diamond, nobody sees that diamond, but will that diamond cease to exist?
No, it does exist.
So aviveka means each one of us are unable to discern or discriminate. That is a individual problem. And mithya jnana means each one of us is having a false understanding. That again is an individual problem. But by itself the absolute truth remains. So for me, the truth does not remain, or the expression of truth or the manifestation of truth does not become existent as long as I don't get that realization. But that does not mean that truth is not there. You see, for example, people in Norway have no night for 6 months. Does that mean that moon does not exist? It exists. Only they are unable to see it. So truth is there. Truth has not gone anywhere. Only I am unable to see truth. Okay, or within our body also, just because I am not able to hear heartbeat doesn't mean my heart is not beating. My heart is beating properly. I can hear heartbeat only in two conditions. One, when my heartbeat becomes very much,
Fast.
when I get palpitation, or second, when you come to Mayavati. Either way, or a place like Mayavati. Anyway, so Satya Anrite Minthuni Kritya. So these two things, that there is a discernment, there is a lack of discernment between these absolutely distinct things, subject and object, and there is this false knowledge and confusing or combining truth with untruth. When these things happen, by that what is happening? We are superimposing these things. We are superimposing these things. And what do? Aham idam. I am this. See, when somebody, some person's, particularly a mother's son is dead, or a mother's child is gone. Aha, moregala, moregala. Oh, I have died, oh, I died. You have not died. Your son has died. But nobody says like that, because of that attachment with that particular person. So somebody's mobile phone is lost, you start crying. What will happen? What will happen? Why? Because of attachment. So aham idam. I am this. I am this. And mama idam. This is mine. This is mine. This is mine. This is mine. So this is what we are constantly suffering. Iti naisargika hai. I am loka vyavahara hai. This is natural. Naisargika hai means it is natural. This is naisargika hai. I am loka vyavahara hai. Loka, people, vyavahara hai, their behavior. This is the usage by people. And it is natural. So this is the natural usage. As a monk, see, naturally, this is how we talk. If you talk about death, we don't like. So, Maharaj Ushab Katha Mukhya Anbenna. So, monk is always a misfit in society, you see. So, it's a big difficulty for us to work for society by serving God in human beings, because human beings are unable to understand what. So, everybody should be like totally what? Like some completely makeup should be there, good dress should be there, and this some of monasticism, the very spirit of monasticism goes against that. And then people should come, then you should do namaskar, and then you should somehow see. I don't care. Monk will say, I don't care. I have not left my hearth and home to go and do pranam and patronize all of you. So I don't care. But that somehow Maharaj, this is how people should live. You should actually. When Swamiji was there, he used to go to so many meetings, etc. He was invited and he used to talk, etc. And so people used to be annoyed. And so one of the Hale sisters, she told him that you should take care of your behavior, etc. So he writes in a letter, I essayed and essayed, means I tried and tried, but I cannot. Says truth will corrode, but I cannot. I cannot go in the path of displeasing others, etc. etc. So you see, Naisargika, that which is natural for society, is quite unnatural for a monk. That is why in Kathopanishad it is told that you should be the waking among the sleeping. That means what? You should be waking, you should be diligently awake to your true reality. Whereas the entire world is asleep to its true reality. So this is Naisargika, ayam loka vyavahara. This is the natural observation or natural usage, common usage by people. Common usage by people. Like you should not ask the age of a woman and all that. All kind of stupid things we have made. Swamiji says we have this concept of chivalry. That a woman will come and then he will say how beautiful you are. Swamiji says, how dare you say like that to a woman? How dare you say that a woman? Now it has changed. Somebody posts a picture on Facebook, immediately everybody, how beautiful, how beautiful. What stupid thing it is. So the same thing Swamiji said in a different context, the same thing is now being done in the virtual world. So Naisargika, the problem is what is normal for the worldly is unnatural for the spiritual. So that is where you see this is also we have to Naisargika. We may just read it and say, oh, Shankaracharya says that it is normal usage. But there is a hidden meaning in that. There is a subtext there. That's why he is saying that it is Naisargika Loka Vyavahara hai, because wrong perception is inbuilt into our life. Wrong perception, wrong understanding is inbuilt into our very upbringing. You see, we wrongly think that getting an employment and getting settled is actually getting settled, but it is actually getting unsettled. So these things also we have to, so even that I am Loka Vyavahara Naisargika, even that has a deeper meaning, and that we will see when Thursday, day after tomorrow. Simple. You see, you are not the body, you are not the mind, you are not prana, you are not ananda, you are not vijnana. You are that which is not all of these things, but has been mistaken to be all of these things. So these things are not separate from that. You see, even a stone is not separate from Brahman, because there can be nothing which is separate from Brahman. It's only a wrong reading, wrong understanding. So instead of seeing consciousness, I am seeing tree. Instead of seeing consciousness, I am seeing mind. Instead of seeing consciousness, I am seeing prana. Instead of seeing consciousness, I am seeing body. If every day morning when we get up, we just think that I am not the body, I am not the mind, I am not the body, I am not the mind, until we go to sleep, we can do one day at a time. If you do continuously for 1 week, then 1 month, 1 year, then you are not the body and you are not the mind. Simple. It's very simple actually if you think about it. Because you see, we have confused ourselves to be something which we are not. Will it not be easier to go back to thinking what we actually are? You see? So it will be very easy. Good. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat.